You're listening to Women Are the Journey with your hostess with the mostest. That's right, me, Audrey Groeschel. We've got all your journeying here. We've got the story of the shift, where women entrepreneurs talk about their own unique journey on the road of owning a business as a woman. We have the journey of Chew on This, where I talk about the masculine structures of our society, how they hinder women in particular, but all of us in general. We'll open up the potentials of what a balance of feminine and masculine can give to us and to our planet. Join me as we explore the infinite possibilities of a journey of balance and transformation. Howdy, everybody. You are listening to a little Chew on This with Audrey Groeschel. And we're going to take a different tack today. I'm going to share a story, and I'm not comfortable doing it, but we're going to do it anyways. Before I started this podcast, I had some of my Ms. Mind ladies, actually all three of them, urging me to start a podcast. And I was very reluctant, and I was really resistant to it and didn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden I decided, it's a good thing to do, because I actually had that moment where I realized I could have something to talk about. I mean, really, the reason why I didn't was because I wasn't sure what I needed to talk about, if there was anything to talk about. And I realized that I could interview women about their businesses and the stories that they tell about each shift that they made to bring them to where they are at that point in their business. And I thought it sounded like a great idea. And really, it was more of an intuitive nudge. It was more of a tap on the shoulder from Goddess, from the universe, from whoever you'd like to call it, that said, this is a good thing to do, and this is what you need to do. And I wanted to do a little bit more, so I came up with the idea of Chew on This. And I was looking to do something that would help shift perception of the masculine and feminine specifically, because that's really kind of my big thing, is getting women to help them step into their feminine, and to let men see that women need to step into their feminine, and realizing that all the stuff that I've looked into, all the research that I've done, it shows so definitively that our entire world is so masculine based. There's no feminine anywhere in anything. And I was so passionate about wanting everybody to see that and to help them understand. And then I got out there and started doing it. And let me tell you, the interviews, absolutely incredible. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. Just amazing. The women have been brilliant, so full of wisdom, and so much fun. I have enjoyed each and every interview so far, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon on that. The only thing that's come from that is a little bit of deeper clarity on who I want to talk to. And that's a whole other story on that. I'll get into that at some other time. But the big issue was the Chew on This. I did the first one, and it felt uncomfortable. I did the second one, and it felt uncomfortable. And then I did the third one, actually, before I even did the third one. After the second one, I was freaking out, because I knew it was wrong, and I knew it was screwed up, and I had no idea what to do, and I was just beating myself up. It was just horrible, and I kept walking around and saying the dreaded words, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And as the lovely Megan Hale said, that's the biggest lie that we tell ourselves, that we don't know what to do. And I spent all this time talking about to myself, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And I dove deep, and I had to come up with something because I'd put myself on this schedule. I had to have some kind of a plan to put stuff out. And I didn't know what to do. And then I realized, okay, I'll do this. And I did last week's podcast and talked about what it was being feminine, how to, as opposed to the masculine. And it just was horrible. It was horrible. It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed beyond belief by what I had put out. And I put it out anyways. Even though I hated it and I was embarrassed by it, I put it out. And seriously, at this point, there's a part of me that still wants to go and delete them because I am embarrassed by them. But I'm not going to, because it's part of my progression here, right? It's everything that I'm talking about, which is my own journey. Hello. So, moving on with that. So here I am now. Well, in between last week and today, I had a huge revelation that I have been stepping into my own feminine for years now. Not really understanding that that's what I was doing at first, but, then realizing that it was really important, that I was living as such a masculine woman and it felt like an uncomfortable suit, too tight pair of jeans, however you want to put it. It was just uncomfortable. And then realizing that I really didn't know what being feminine meant. And, what am I going to do? Wear more makeup or put on dresses? I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl, and putting on makeup. Oh my God. I work from home. Why would I want to put on makeup? I'm lucky if I throw some mascara on for the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not a makeup girl. I never have been. And so these are the things that are supposed to make you feminine, or at least get you on the road towards feeling feminine. And it was just lame. And then I started, really doing all the research and really looking at it. And that's where obviously the coaching program came from, the Business Goddess Style, where I helped women plug in their own feminine talents, skills, and innate behaviors and being into the way they run their businesses. And the result is incredible and it's beautiful. And so I really had stepped into that. And I thought I was really solidly on the road and I was really listening to my intuition, not consistently. It was there once in a while. But the longer I went, the more it was there and the more being I was in my life instead of doing in my life. And then last week happened. And the first thing that I realized was I'd gone into this podcast without a plan. And I'm fairly certain that may be the first time in my life I've ever gone into anything without a plan. And it wasn't scary. It was solid. Like I just knew that this is exactly what I needed to do. And so I went with it. And it was great. But the thing is, what I went with, which the solid thing was the story of the shift, was talking to all these women entrepreneurs about their stories. And the other part, the chew on this, that was definitely something that I had planned. I had pulled that from something else. I'd been utilizing it in another way, in another part of my marketing and my promotion, my outreach and all kinds of stuff. I'd been using the chew on this in a different way. And so I thought, I'll plug that into the podcast and it'll be perfect. It'll be like the little short, Thursday release, and it'll give a good thing about me. It'll talk about me and, I'll be able to go after all those things that I really want to go after. And so what happened? Well, it didn't work. Look at that, right? And I knew it wasn't working. And I still did those 3 podcasts of the chew on this, and it was just terrible. It was horrible. It sucked. and I hated it, and I was embarrassed, and it was bad. It was just bad. So what I realized was that the story of the shift, part of the podcast, I'd gone into with no plan at all. I'd just gone into it knowing that this is exactly what I needed to do. I'd gotten the guidance from outside and inside of me. It felt right. There was no two ways about it. I knew that this was what I was supposed to do. And the chew on this? No. I was actually forcing it. I was trying to plan it. I was making notes. I was writing this. I was writing that. And I was hating all of it. Last week, I think I tried recording. No, I did. The one that I ended up posting was the 5th time that I'd done it. It was just terrible. Oh, and I was still so embarrassed about it, and I still did it anyways. That's beside the point. My point was that I made a huge plan around the Chew on This. I have files on Chew on This. I have things that I can do, and it was all a huge plan. There was strategy happening, and there was rules, and I'd set goals, and I'd done all these things for that specific part of the podcast, and it didn't work. What do you know about that? Whereas on the other hand, the story of the shift, I've got 2 months worth of content ready to go. And I have absolutely nothing ready to go with Chew on This. What do you know about that, right? So the big revelation came when I realized that I was solidly in the masculine on Chew on This. That I was making a plan, and I wasn't offering myself any outside the box opportunities. I was making the plan and following it. What's funny is that I have 2 different parts of the podcast going. One is in the complete intuitive, in the flow. I'm just accepting it and receiving everything that's coming to me, and it's working beautifully, and it's awesome, and it's just amazing. And then I've got the other part, the Chew on This, and it's sucking. And all I'm doing is forcing it and planning it and pushing at it and being aggressive about it and being pissed off about the things that I want to talk about, and it still sounds stupid. I had completely stepped out of my feminine with Chew on This and stepped into my masculine. I mean, it's amazing, really, because it just shows exactly the reason why, as a woman, being in my feminine is so important. Because the story of the shift is just the most beautiful thing ever. I mean, these women are incredible. And their stories are your stories. They're my stories. They're all of our stories. And you really get to peek behind the curtain of the actual journey that we all make on this entrepreneurial path. It fit. It was beautiful, and it flowed, and it's wonderful. And Chew on This was just a train wreck. And that is it for part 1 of Chew on This. You'll get part 2 next week. I hope you liked the beginning of this. It went a little long, which is why it's 2 pieces. But we'll catch you next week. Come back to finish the rest, because there's an extra bonus on the back end of next week. Woohoo! See ya! Hey everyone! Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed it, or even if you didn't, hit that subscribe button and share it with your friends. You can follow me on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher at Women Are the Journey. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next time.